So I will not have any alerts on. I will not have anything on screen except for the game and my commentary, and that's about it. And well, we will have in-game audio. Should be in-game audio at least. There's in-game audio. All right. So make the music a little bit louder. Now I can still adjust, right? While we're at the beginning. Okay. So, oh, I even forgot to tweet and whatever. Whatever. I can do that after next game. So we see the first person with the mastermind. That's the first I can see here. The final metal start. On the opposite side, we have another final metal start. And we can at least see that there's 3 masterminds. I'm guessing Daddy Ducky also picked mastermind. But he did not pick his role yet. So what do we see? We see a lot of Bone Warriors, we see a lot of Aquas. Triple Butchers, where I see triple Bone Warrior as well. Okay, so we have a Bone Crusher start on Yammer. And on the opposite side, we have a Nightmare start. So 2 Forsaken starts, 2 Element starts, 4 people with Mastermind. Okay, who are we gonna observe first? Probably the Bone Crusher, right? He takes the longest to kill this. I should probably turn up the sound just because I'm a little bit more zoomed out than usual. So you can hear something. Alright, and while he's obviously the slowest to clear this, he's also the only one who pushed to 5 workers now, since he was able to start on 4, and getting to 5 is not that hard. Everyone else pushed, they all know they're safe too, and so we don't see anyone sending so far. Maybe Daddy Ducky will decide to send against the Bone Crusher. We don't know. It's a difficult choice though, because most Bone Crushers play pretty safe on 2 at like a Gargoyle and Bone Warriors. He actually so far only added 2 Bone Warriors, 3 Bone Warriors. That's about it. So I think against the Fiend he would have actually leaked here. Or against the Double Snail maybe. Someone pinged that. I can sadly not see who pinged it, but someone pinged that, because that would have leaked to Ascent most likely. Okay, on the opposite side, nothing special. We all know that these builds hold level 2 even against a 40 cent. Elemental is solid, Nightmare is solid. Even a Bone Crusher is solid if there's no send on 2. Just takes a little bit longer to kill, and we can see the Mythium is ramping up. 3 people are almost able to send this Brood or Dragon Turtle pre-income. Teal actually was the only one who could have done that, but he went Lizard Snail, so they probably know, okay, we cannot really break the enemies on this level, so we're just gonna send for income. But they did really, like, those were last income, like last second sends, so they can get the income. That is all they made. But it's good, really good. The opposite side, no sense. Probably thinking about level 4. Fundamental has some really big weaknesses on 4. Also he had peewees here for 3. He even built 5 peewees, which I think is a very safe build. On the opposite side we have a honey flower added to the Bone Crusher. Interesting, because that's also a good unit for 3 and 4, kinda. So maybe they will send different now. They are still sending, but now they actually decided to send a Hermit and not go for the Dino or the Brute. No leaks so far, and Crazy decided to send a Dino against the Fundamental. But from what I can see, they will not be able to add too much. They will both be able to add a Snail if they want to, and then that's the 100 cent. But I think the enemy team is preparing for it. We have Rave on 4 workers still, who's now going for Veteran, that he might even boost. Although he has 405 volume, maybe. Oh, he boosted it, okay, he wanted to be sure. And we see them. Yeah, they added, so 100 cents. Teal the only one with 5 workers on this team. Basically because he started with 5 workers, he just pushed one more. So he added Bone Warriors and Fire Archers for this wave. Let's see if that's gonna help him. Actually, the Bone Crusher, I gotta say, the aggro on the Bone Crusher is pretty good. It survives pretty long. It's gonna die now though. But it survived pretty long, I would say. Brave is holding more than easily. I guess he's telling himself right now, oh, why did I boost the Veteran? Why couldn't I just boost 2 peewees instead? Because that was, well, I don't want to say easy, but it's getting really close to that. So on the other side though, Teal fighting the Hermit, he will most likely lose that fight. So let me see. Yeah, he should not be healing against that. He cannot heal against the Hermit, and there's the leak. That is a little bit of gold. It's not a lot, and for the saving team, that's also a lot of time. And Yellow, for example, is sending here right now. He is pretty happy about this, I guess. Also because he gets some extra gold now for the Hermit kill. Very sweet. At the gold, we can't see a big difference so far. We can quickly change the scoreboard. We can see the net worth is, well, it is really close. Like, there's not much we can say so far. Both teams saved a little bit, and so far no major leaks. Yeah, we can only see that Teal leaked here, but it was only the Hermit, so that is completely fine. Alright, so now Yellow sending to Blue. 100, Brute, Double Snail. Blue, very interesting. I wanted to say, oh, I missed that he picked Forsaken, but he picked Mastermind. But he picked Mastermind, where he only exchanges tier 6 for Firelord. And this is, in my opinion, a very risky build, that you go for the Butcher, which is, of course, giving lifesteal, but is usually not tanking too much. But he's doing it perfectly fine here, almost. If this aggro wasn't that good, he would have leaked way more here. He will probably still end up leaking 1 or 2 creeps, but he would have leaked way more otherwise. So I think he still did a pretty good job here. Actually, he's actually even holding because of the lifesteal. So it was worth it, but if that Butcher was getting hard focused and the Nightmare was getting hard focused, the lifesteal would have not helped him that much. So good job, good positioning here. And he rewarded himself by going 9 workers, which is, I think, 8 workers is already kind of risking 6. 9 workers though is, well, he should definitely add something. He's probably deciding to add a couple of Bomb Warriors. Only 1 Bomb Warrior? Okay, so 470 value. Any major cents? We have a 120 cent from Daddy Ducky to the Teal player Yammer. Makes sense against Bone Crusher, I guess. That makes sense. But yeah, he mostly got other units. He actually got a Butcher, which I'm not too sure if that was a good choice. Cause same here, it's not, he didn't have a big DPS unit. Honeyflower is okay, but against 6 it doesn't hit too many targets. But overall, it will be a leak. It will be 2 Rockos and a Fiend. But in return, the east side team also pushed. So they're now at 530, 560 value. They will not have much more. Wraith will have a little bit more value, but Emmer's not gonna get much more value. They both push 9 workers. On the opposite side, 8 and 9 workers. So really aggressive play in return as well. And we see another send from Wraith against Daddy Ducky. He is currently sending 120. And it looks like he will be able to send 140. If he decides to full send here. He probably knows that Daddy Ducky is underbuilding here. But he is actually building a second Nightmare, and that makes him pretty safe, I would say. Makes him rather safe, I would really say. So, pretty good. Sorry for the alert sound, by the way. I think I turned it off now. And we also have a 200 cent. Yammer decided to send here against the Aqua. And Aqua built a lot of natural armor already. Built the Antler. Probably already expecting a really big 9 cent. And Yeah, that Antler dies, but it tanked long enough, in my opinion. And, well, the Bone Crusher is also still semi-tanking, which is perfect. And that's not going to be a leak. Same on blue here, he recovered a lot. Teal, though, what can we see what kind of cent he got? He actually got an 80 cent only. But that 80 cent was enough to basically make him leak very hard. 7 out of 12 creeps. Because he has only 625 value. I think he even saved a little bit of gold. He might have been able to maybe add like 2 tier 1s. I'm not sure how much gold exactly he had, but I think he saved a little bit. And this will throw him back though. Like he leaked on 6 and now also on 7. Also on 4 before. The 4 leak wasn't too crucial, but the level 6 and level 7 leak, they were painful. So what do we see now? We see right now the recommend values of level 8 is 870, and we see everyone below 800 value. So that is very interesting. And yeah, Teal is the only one who gets another cent. They saw that he's weak and they want to get there. They want to just make him leak. Bone Crusher gets focused very early, so that might end really bad for him. Especially with the Butcher being focused next after these gargoyles. Then he has only 3 Fire Archers left. Fire Archers can't really decide on one target either, so they're split damaging a little bit. Now they found their target, but this is again gonna be a massive leak. Again, 7 creeps out of 12. And that is gonna throw them back. We see right now already a 300 gold lead, and that gap is gonna get even bigger now. So we can see so far. Well, if this stat is right, then I'm not too sure if I can trust this completely. Because I don't think that the enemy team, like the west side team even leaked. So we can probably not trust this stat too much. But we can definitely say that the west side team got a lot of gold from this. 400 gold difference already. And that is more than 10% at this point. And that is crucial. Now, Lady Duck is deciding though to not to resend. He also needed to do supply. Everyone needed to do supply already. Pretty early. By the way, our Legion spells are Hero. That should be Full House. And Sorcerer. But no one was like, okay, let's go for that Full House. They all knew they had to add a lot of small units early. So the only person that got a cent this time was Wraith. 160. He even boosted a couple of peewees, which I guess is a good choice. He was kind of expecting a cent here because he wasn't expecting them to send 10 against peewees with Leviathan. But the Leviathan is also tanking really good on 9, and with boosted peewees this is no problem. The safety mole got killed pretty early, so well, no issues. And there are the level 10 sets coming in. Now everyone is sending again. So we see just simply snails being sent by Crazy. We see a safety mode by Daddy Ducky, which I guess is good against the Fire Archers. We see dinos from both players on the east side being sent. Makes sense, I guess. Oh, we have a white main already on Crazy. I think he even had that on level 9 already. He knows there's a big send coming, and the white main is, I think, a really good choice. His backline DPS isn't that big though. So he actually needs that white main to deal damage. Same here, we actually have a head chef on blue. I don't know if he did that this way with a wave before. He's also focusing down the brutes very early. But I believe that these nightmares are gonna get focused soon. Yeah, there the first nightmare gets focused. I don't think he's gonna hold this. On the other side we have Wraith with a close fight. And we have a disciple on Yammer, which is helping him at least. So the leaks are gonna be rather low HP, 100 HP, 1200 HP. And blue is actually, against my predictions, he's holding. The head chef is holding off very long. He still had a couple of gargoyles helping him. And this is again leaks on the east side, while there's no leak on the west side. The whole game, they did not leak yet. And that is a big goal advantage. You'll see it now after level 10. But we can already see that there's a big difference. We see 600 gold difference. That is big. That is really big. Actually 700 now. So, question is, what can I do? We see Full House being picked by Wraith. He probably wants us to go to late game. He knows he's going to add a lot of tier 1s. He's probably going to add a couple of Leviathans with peewees around. And having Full House really helps, because then you can really spam those tier 1s without having to worry too much about the Mythium. No one's sending 11. That's probably also because there was no offensive spells that you could use. Only Hero, Full House, and Sorcerer. We see 3 heroes being used. We see a white man on red. On blue we see... Oh yeah, good question. Who has the hero buff here? Oh, a Nightmare has the hero buff. And on teal we have the Butcher with the hero buff. This Butcher though has, in my opinion, not the best units around it. Like Bone Crushers don't benefit too much from that. Gargoyles, okay. Honeyflower, okay. Millennium, yeah, really good. But overall, not the strongest units really being buffed. He's in general more relying on those Bone Warriors and Fire Archers, which is probably not too good in the long run. Especially because everyone will send a safety mole against this build. And that makes sense. So now Wraith is boosting a couple of peewees. We can already see the big difference here in values. We see 1880 and 1780 versus 1690, 1805. Those are big differences already. And they additionally also have less workers. So he's expecting to send 12 here. He would be happy about a 12 cent, I guess. But there is no level 12 cent. We'll see. Will they send 13? You guys want me to scroll out so you can see multiple players? Well, then you can't hear any sound though. That's what I can tell you. I can actually scroll out and show you all 4 lanes. If you want to see it like this. But I think it's better if you, like, if we see where the action is going and then scroll there. But of course, if everyone sends on the wave, and that is happening here, or that is actually not happening here. I think Yammer actually missed his send because he wants to go for a Ghost Knight or something like that. I think that's what he was planning to do, maybe. Would a Ghost Knight make sense? Maybe he's probably saving for 4 eyes. But he missed income because of that, and that's again a lot of gold swing. Like, that's 800 gold he's behind. Now he has to sell something because he wanted to get a Doomsday, and there's the 4 eyes. Overall, we see really big sense. The Ghost Knight double Dragon Turtle, we see Shaman, small units. And it is simply a big worker difference. We have 18 and 18 versus 16 and 10. And that is simply a big difference. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have probably blue hold here. He also had the Fire Lord. The enemy team probably really expected him to be Forsaken, but he is in fact Mastermind, which is helping him a lot. So he's clearing this very easily. Crazy is not leaking a lot. On the other side though, we don't see a lot of leaks. We see Yammer leaking Golem, Shaman and Lizards. And Wraith, he's most likely gonna leak 2 Golems, but he also had to invest a lot of gold into buffing those peewees. So he's gonna fall more and more behind with this build. Again, leaks on their side, but on the other side, we can just look it up again, but we see only check marks. There is no leak so far. So even more gold that they're behind now. Income wise, we can quickly check that they're not too far behind, but because the enemy team has way more workers, they are falling more and more behind. And they need a really smart send now. Maybe after 15 with the double workers, they can pull off a good send. Although I think multiple people are gonna send 15 on this game. Because 16 isn't looking too good. There's a lot of peers I can see. On blue, for example, he has the doppelganger. He's probably going to have a second doppelganger for 16. We have a lot of Daphnes for red. And on the other side, well, we have those peewees that are dealing a lot of damage on 16 with Leviathan. And we also see Berserker being used now, alongside the Head Chef and the White Mane. Although only one of the Berserkers actually got the Head Chef buff. And here we have, well, a build that is mostly focusing on Doomsday now, I guess. So the second Millennium was built there instead of the Gargoyles, so it gets the lifesteal as well. Which is very powerful on Doomsday. It's definitely powerful. Yeah, I wouldn't expect anyone to send 15 here. This wave was too fast. It wouldn't do too much. West side team actually has a decent amount of Mythium. But I guess they wanna end it on 16. So again, they force Rave to boost a couple of his peewees, which will make him even weaker in the long run. What is going to be their answer? I'm guessing there's only one thing they can do right now. While we see they're 1400 gold behind. That is too much. That is a lot, but it can still happen. What I think they can do, or what they can hope for, is that the enemy team simply fail sends. So they were probably hoping for the enemy team to send 15 here to be greedy, and that they can push a couple of workers after 15 and go 17. But they didn't do that. And 16, even if they send for income as well, I don't think they're going to be strong enough to hold it. We will see though. Wraith will probably buff a lot of peewees again. We will find out. So they actually save. They actually believe in their ability to hold 16. They probably really believe in Wraith holding with his front line. Fatalizers and Berserkers buff with White Mane. Fatalizer buff by the Head Chef. And then his backline, the Leviathan Peewee. His value is 3185. Of course, it's worth a little bit more because he has buffed peewees. 11 in total. So they are kind of not even double as strong, but probably even more than that. 2.5 times as strong with the Leviathan buff. So that can be powerful. That can actually make a difference of, well, 400 value, 500 value. But here are the sends coming in. We see Ghost Knight auras against Wraith, and against Yammer we see... I'm guessing that was a Ghost Knight as well. And we definitely see auras as well. No, that was a Mimic. Oh, interesting choice. He didn't send the Ghost Knight, mostly I guess because he also builds Fire Archers and Disciples. But they are holding pretty strong though. I think maybe a Ghost Knight would have been good actually. So Yammer with his 3285 value, no peewees, no nothing, is just holding this. I would even say pretty easily. The question is, what are they doing with this? Wraith is sending, so it seems like their plan is actually to end the enemy team on 17. They did really good here on this wave. I did not expect Doomsday to actually do that good on 16. But that was also to the fact that he did not have to face a Ghost Knight, because he naturally countered the Ghost Knight because of the Disciple, so the enemy team didn't even think about sending it. I'm not sure if Mimic was really a good choice there. But we don't see a lot of leaks. We definitely see a bigger gold gap because there were leaks and they just received a lot of income. But this send can change it all. This level 17 send can change it all. We even see a couple of workers being pushed. Rev is now on 19, Yammer's on 16. Risky, because if you look at their values right now, while Rave is just buffing a couple of peewees again, while he's boosting them up, their values are 3.8k. So the recommended value, Is this the recommend value of the normal wave? I'm not too sure if it is. But if it is, then they are 600 below. While the enemy team is just on recommend value right now. Gonna have a hard time here. 520, 760, not the biggest sense. I mean, it was a save from level 13 to 17. So that is probably doable, but we know doppelgangers aren't too good 17 if they don't have proper frontline. And he combined it with Phoenix, which is also not too good on 17. But on the other side we see golems. We see golems with a Hades, with Aquas, and with Daphne. So blue is leaking, because he was really weak against this wave. He was stronger 16, he was stronger 18. But red, crazy, is simply holding. Because he had the front line, he has the fortified front line, and he has the pierce back line. And that is simply making him indestructible. So there were probably 8 or 10 leaks here, but he's just killing half of it. So the king damage is really going to be minimal. And in return, they were able to push so many workers here. Now on 37 and 27 workers, which are really big numbers. But so far they are not sending, so they're not planning to go 18. They're probably planning to go 19 or 20. What would I do if I see this build? So 19 would definitely be good for the front line because the Fatalizers are really weak. The damage though from Wraith is pretty good against 19. This damage is not that good 20. On the other player, difficult to say. Doomsday are definitely weaker 19. And he also built 2 death caps now, so he's really strong against 18. Could even hold a decent cent. But against 19, it's looking hard for him. Same for 20. Doomsday with their area damage, not too powerful on 20. And that's a lot of wasted gold here on Wraith. He boosted around 30 peewees, which is 150 gold. So this probably really hurt him that he boosted the peewees in this game so often when it didn't really matter, when he didn't really need to. We can just remind ourselves of wave 4 where he buffed a veteran and he held it really easily, so he probably didn't need to invest those 20 gold that early. And there we go, we see the sends, we see double Ghost Knight now being sent. So now they don't care about the Disciple on heal, they're just sending. And that makes sense in my opinion. I think this is the right call to go for. There is a lot of spell damage actually on Teal, but probably not enough to clear 2 Ghost Knights that quick. And his single target damage and his follow-up damage, after, like in general also his tankiness, his front line, is not there. It is not existence. So I don't think he's going to be able to hold 19 at all. Especially with this value. We have 5,100 value, the recommend value here is 6,100. We have a lot of PVs from Wraith, and he's again buffing 4 full sets of PVs, so that's 24. Not 30, I thought he had 5 Leviathans. And now he has to hold it. 900 cent, 740 cent. The cents are being cleared pretty quick. Actually, Wraith took a little bit longer for that second Ghost Knight. But what can the backline do? Heal is not holding this. He's completely getting destroyed right now by this wave. But is Wraith gonna hold? Are Peewees actually going to be able to pull this off? It seems like they are. Like the PV DPS with only 5,000 value, but in theory it will probably be 600 or even more value more because of the boosted the boost feature. He's actually able to clear his wave. Maybe not able to hold. Seems like he's gonna leak 2 creeps, but this might be enough for them to not die on this wave. Creeps that he leaked are pretty low already. The other creeps here in mid, if we look at them, a couple of them are low. Others are still good on HP. We have 50% on King. This is going to be close. I would say this is really going to be close. They of course hope to survive this, but I'm not even sure that if West Side team can resend a Shaman here, they might just win the 20 race. But it seems like it doesn't matter because this game is going down and they are losing. They're losing on 19 with 5 creeps alive. In the end, they were too far behind, and maybe Brave already lost too much value simply for boosting all those peewees. And that's game number 1. That was a pretty sweet game, I gotta say. With a very strong performance by the West Side team, by Crazy and Daddy Ducky. We haven't seen a single leak on Crazy, and on Daddy Ducky we've seen 1 leak, which was on wave 17. But he also received a bigger send on 17. And he was basically the main target of that send. So well played, honestly, really well played. And that was game number 1. Yeah, well, the only game for this pair of teams. So boosted peewees, I'm guessing that's Rave's team, is now eliminated. And Crazy and Daddy Ducky will go on to losers round 5, where they will meet the winner of the other losers round 4 matchup. I'm not sure who won that, but we will find out soon, I guess. Very interesting game. Well done by both parties. And yeah, I'm glad we didn't only see popular stars. We also saw Bone Crusher start, which is not too popular right now. But pretty sweet that we saw it. Okay, so those were the end values. Here we can see the graph again with the team goal advantage. Here we can see that basically starting with that level 6 league, it just went downhill for the East team. 7 made it worse, 8 again with leaks. 9 was good, I guess, but then on 10 again they leaked. And this is already a big goal difference at level 10. This is 5 workers each. And so they were able to just put more pressure on them, made them league again on 13. 16, I would have said it was a good choice, but it was probably not the best units being sent. I think that Mimic, for example, was maybe just a pretty wasted send. Maybe a Ghost Knight would have even been better, even though there were disciples. But they do not do too much burst damage, and yeah. Well, at the same time, you can't send Ghost Knights and Snails because he has the Doomsday as well. But interesting. And 17 cent did not hit that hard. They did not get back simply because the West team was already so far ahead in income. And yeah, I don't know what we're gonna show next actually. If we're showing the winner bracket semifinals, or if we're gonna show the losers round 5. But I'm gonna talk to Jules, and I guess we see you after a short break. So I'm gonna